Good morning and welcome back to my channel, Don't Mind Me. My name's Diana and today I am in my craft room and I'm going to make a box, and while I do I will tell you a story that was told to me by a friend of my mum's when I was 3, 4, maybe a little bit older. And this friend of my mum's did say it was true, so I only have her word for it, or I only did have her word for it. Sadly, she's no longer with us. I am in the process of just cleaning my scan and cut mat, as I have just cut out a box. So with no further ado, let's get on with the story. As I said, I wasn't very old, and this friend of my mum's would come and stay with us for Christmas. As she was a spinster, she lived on her own and in Hastings, and we always used to call her Auntie, even though she was no relation. But my mum and Auntie Marjorie met in the Wrens, and this lady was slightly older than my mum, and she used to work in a hospital as well. And this is where this story that Auntie Marjorie told me is based. And the story goes that she was doing a night shift, and while she was sitting in the ward in the middle of the ward, I should say, she saw this person come across the ward. To her, she said it was just like a normal person, didn't think anything of it, and decided that, okay, I'll carry on with my work, do what I'm doing. But then something made her stop and think, hang on a minute, I'm not so sure now. And as she watched this lady, or this person, I can't quite remember whether she said it was a woman, but she said as she watched this person go from the doorway all along the ward to the end where there was no other door, just a brick wall, she saw this woman, this person, just go past her and float right to the far end and disappear. Now, she said to me that she didn't really believe in that sort of thing, and so she wasn't 100% sure whether it was just her mind playing tricks on her or if it was real. Now, I never really thought much about that story until I started getting paranormal encounters myself. And then this story came back to me, And I thought, I know what, it's coming into Halloween and I will tell this story, and I will speak about my own experiences, as I have had several experiences of the paranormal, which to me is crazy, because I have always believed in the paranormal, but then I thought, well, nothing really happened. A friend of mine told me that where I used to live, we had an old workhouse which is now a care home, and my friend and I had gone out for the evening, and she was dropping me home, and she said to me the next time I saw her that as she was starting the car up, she looked up and she saw a lady in a crinoline dress floating across the road. Now, again, I didn't see this, but I have known this friend for many, many years, and we're very good friends, and I believe her. When we moved into the house opposite this workhouse, it was after my dad had passed, and my mum decided that we weren't going to live at the bungalow anymore, we were going to move into this house. And it was very, very strange. I hadn't wanted to move into the bungalow. I was very happy living in the house I grew up in from the age of 3. And so when we moved, or went to move, my mum said to me, well, what do you think? And I walked in and I felt this presence, or this feeling I'd never felt before, where it was almost saying, look, please, basically I just fell in love with the house, and I did have a few experiences there, and I did find out that it was built on part of the old workhouse that had been pulled down, and that it was one of those scenarios where, again, I'd come in from seeing a friend, we'd spent the day out, she dropped me off, the house was completely empty, and we'd been laughing, joking, and I came in, and for some reason, I don't know why, but my spirits, I felt a bit strange, to say the least. And as I walked into the lounge, the stairs went off from the lounge, I literally heard my name, and it was Kids. It didn't scare me. I was in shock. That's how I can explain it. I was in shock. I wasn't expecting to hear anything, and I called out, and of course they were upstairs. The voices came from upstairs, and as I say, I was on my own. My brother lived up north, so I knew it wasn't him. My mum was at work, so I knew it wasn't her. And as I said, my dad had passed away, so I knew it couldn't be him. So I phoned this friend up and I told her my experience, and she was like, "You're joking, really?" And I said, "Yep." I said, "I've heard my name being called, and it was by children." And she said, "Di, do you want me to come round?" I said, no, I'm fine. I'll be fine. Mum will be back soon." And that was that. My final experience in that house was one that was equally as strange. I had had a dream where we were in our old family house and something strange had happened in that house, and it was almost as though something was telling me that something was going to happen. And as I came to from, I guess, sleeping, I felt something run, like fingers running down my spine. Now, I was the only one in the bedroom. My mum was asleep. I froze. It was the first time I'd ever had sleep paralysis. And when I told my friend what had happened, she was like, "You are kidding me." She said, because her late mum had a experience where she had seen a little boy in her bedroom, and this was on exactly the same day that I had felt this spirit move its finger down my back. And she and I just looked at each other as if to say, why both of us at the same time, at the same day, on the same day, have this feeling? And I still don't know to this day why. But as I say, that was a few of the experiences. I mean, my first ever experience of a ghost was when I was doing my nurse training, and I was in the staff or the nurses' quarters, and it was an old Victorian building, and this building was, I say, very old. It had a lot of bedrooms. It had 2 sets of staircases, one for the staff and one for the owners of the house when it was a private house. Now, I decided after coming back from doing a late shift that I was going to make a drink. And as I went downstairs to make this drink, about 20 past 9 in the evening, I felt something behind me. I was about halfway down the stairs, and this person was maybe 2 steps up from me, but I felt they could reach out and touch me on the shoulder. I looked back, no one was there. And I spoke to a friend of mine who was in the same year as me, and I told her about it, and she wasn't surprised. She actually said that someone she knew had had a similar experience where they'd had footsteps going past their room and no one walked past, their door was open, so they would have seen if someone had walked past. No one did. And so that was my first experience. Okay, that's the finished box, which I can put a piece at the top. So if I put like a present or something inside, a piece of jewellery or something, no one will see what it is. But as I say, that is the finished box. And the most compelling story, and I'm not sure if I have told you this one or not, but the most compelling story is one that actually proves that spirits, ghosts are real. And I had a witness to this one, and we were in a care home or rest home where I used to work, and I always had an odd feeling that something was strange, that I was being watched, and it was a little bit creepy. It was upstairs, and there were several bedrooms, a bathroom and a dining room. And I was laying the table for lunch, and my colleague was by the window, and there was a bookcase, and on this bookcase was a plastic ornamental horse, which was owned by one of the residents. Now, the dining room table was quite a way away from this bookcase, so no matter how near we were to the table, the ornaments and things on the bookcase wouldn't move. And I'd been laying this table for months, and I was the opposite side of the table, and I was actually facing the bookcase. And my colleague and I were talking, and all of a sudden this plastic horse came flying off the bookcase and landed at my feet. And my colleague and I just looked at each other, and I picked it up, and one of the horse's legs was broken, and it was carpeted floor. So my colleague finished earlier than me, so she left and I continued doing what I was doing. And unbeknownst to me, she'd gone down and told the rest of the staff what had happened. So when I walked down, their faces was like, you have just witnessed something, a spirit, poltergeist, something. And I just looked at them straight and went, yeah. And that was my proof That was the proof that I needed. Other than all the other experiences that I've had, that was the proof. I had a witness as well to prove that I hadn't made anything up. But as I say, I hope you like those stories. If you do, please press the notification button, the subscribe button, and the like button. It doesn't cost anything, and always leave a comment. I do read my comments, and I and I do reply to them. So if you have any ideas of stories you'd like, or crafting, or anything you'd like to see on my channel, please leave in comments, and I will see what I can do. But just remember how beautiful and amazing you all are, and that you're so needed in this world. And until next week, I will love you and leave you, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.